This is just a quick video for anyone who works in a school as a teacher, support staff member, anyone who works in education. If you're not one of those people, you can carry on scrolling because I've got a question that I really need answering from my fellow teachers and school staff. I already know the answer to this, it seems, from anyone who doesn't work in education. So if that's not you, just carry on scrolling. So I make videos as a primary school teacher. That is the job I've done for the past 18 years. And I make videos for other teachers and other school staff members. I make funny video, or try to make funny videos. Sometimes I make more serious videos where I comment on the realities of what it's like teaching at the minute. And those videos are there mainly for other teachers to hopefully feel seen and heard, because I feel teaching is incredibly tough at the minute. I've seen how much things have changed since I started teaching, very little for the better. And so when a teacher who's had a tough day finds it hard, can watch one of my videos and it resonates with them, it makes them realise that they're not the only one, and actually a lot of the stresses and pressures aren't down to them, it's down to the system. That's exactly what I want from the content I put out there. One thing I am noticing more and more on a lot of my videos, which I just can't grasp and get my head around, is the sort of what about meism in the comments. So earlier today, I posted a video where a comment was left on another video talking about how their school isn't finishing until the 23rd of December, which I just think is ridiculous. And so I talked about how ridiculous it is, because don't forget, whenever I make a video about the stresses, the pressure and the workload of teaching, the one comment I always get from anyone outside of teaching is, you shouldn't moan about this because you get all those holidays, all those paid holidays. So you should not moan about the job you... Right, okay. So then when I make a point of how late a school is finishing, therefore teachers not getting the perk of those holidays that are the reason why teachers should never moan about how hard their job is, then I get other comments saying, yeah, but what about people who work in this job? Or what about people who work in retail? Well, I don't work in retail. I did when I was a student, but social media wasn't around then, so I couldn't make a video about what it was like to work the 4 a.m. Boxing Day shift at Next. My reality, my job, my lived experience now is teaching. So that's what I talk about. I don't talk about any other job because I don't work in any other industry, and therefore I'm not qualified or experienced. And I can imagine that there are lots of stresses and pressures in other jobs. It goes without saying. I think everything's so much harder for all of us at the minute. But it's not this, whenever I make a video about teaching, it's not this race to the bottom to then compare teaching to every other job. What's the point in that? It was the same the other day when I made a video after a tweet I'd seen comparing teachers' pay now to what it was a few years ago. And again, comments about, well, what about this job? What about this job that get paid? And I'm like, it's not a comparison. I'm just highlighting this issue within teaching, when teaching is a job where you've got 40,000 teachers leaving every year. That is what I'm trying to highlight, the reasons why and how we can change that so it doesn't continue. So the question I'm getting to, if you're still watching, you're still with me, is, if you are a teacher working in a school and then a video comes on your newsfeed, your algorithm puts a video in front of you of a different profession, a different professional in a different industry talking about how hard that job is, do you get straight in the comments then and start commenting about how they shouldn't moan and they don't know how hard it is because they've never worked in a classroom? You know, do you do that? Because I don't. I never have. I've not got the time as a teacher to do it, or the inclination. And so I'm thinking, well, if there's the sheer amount of people outside of teaching that love to get in the comments to talk about how easy teaching is and how we shouldn't moan, I just wonder if other teachers are doing it on other videos of different professions. I don't think they are, but I'd love you to clear that up for me if you can.